use chat for Q&A if you want. We're gonna present. I'm the president of UNIAPAC Europe, and I'm very happy to be here with our friends, Etienne and Augustine and others. And the topic today for this webinar will be dignifying human work at AI times. Probably no one can fully forecast the future about the impact of AI, and we can look at it as a threat, or we can look at it as an opportunity, and it can be a huge opportunity for all of us. So, but the responsibility is in our hands, and we have expert people here, audience, beside Augustine and Etienne. We have entrepreneurs, Christian entrepreneurs, and business leaders, and we need to take a look how can AI not prevent, but be used to develop and to amplify the human dignity at work. And beside that, how can be also inspired by the social Christian social thought or the promotion of common good economy. So this is where we are, and beside thoughts and projections about it, we need to make it happen. So we will share experience, we will have testimonials, we will use the framework of Rerum Novairum, developed by Etienne and Augustine, and I would like to welcome you both and working together with UNIAPAC on this, and other organizations such as EDC, Acton Institute, UCID, Espérance Algorithmes, and others. So, thank you for being here. This will be 1 hour for this webinar. And first of all, I would like to make a short prayer and ask for the presence of God in our minds, in our hearts, in our actions, in our decisions, in our character, this character of love and truth, and asking that may Him inspire us to live love and truth as a management criteria, with or without AI, and how can AI contribute for this world that we dream for all of us. It is in our hands, it is also in our decisions, our acts, and the way that we look for all of these opportunities that He puts in our hands. It's a huge opportunity, it's a huge responsibility. So may God bless us, bless all of you in these times, and let us all together promote a better world. Amen.
Amen.
So Augustine, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. We are from all over the world, and this is actually the ambition and the strength of this initiative that we're going to talk about. It's that the insights that we are collecting, gathering.
Sorry, it is being recorded, right?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm sorry for
Yes.
All the insights come from all over the world. So we are going to try, if you accept, to recreate this map that shows that we are really coming from different places of the world. So could please the people that come from Asia just raise their hands or just click on a button just to show show up. I suppose that Prune is here with us. Is he? Prune, are you here? Okay, from Africa, could you raise your hands?
Yes.
Okay, from the Americas, we have lots of people from South America. Make some noise. All right. And actually, very nice. This is the map of all the places where you guys come from. You saw it? Everyone see it? Okay, so we have here, for example, Sylvia from Africa. We have Prune here. We have, I don't know what's the name of the person here. Oh, sorry. Irenos. I don't know how to say it. Okay, from France, we have some people too. And now I'm going to ask you on your use of AI. I've heard that some of you are experts already. Some are using AI just as a goodies or something, just helping on little things in their day-to-day jobs. And some are really discovering how AIs could be used. I'm changing the map now, just for you guys to see more or less who are around this table and what is the use of AI of the different people here present. Okay, it was just to show that we are an international gathering and that we have all different approaches of AI. Now, I will give Etienne the next slide so that he can introduce you the context, the international context on which we decided to launch and to answer this Leon 14 call about AI. Go ahead, Etienne.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased and let the Holy Spirit inspire all of you. I always recall in the world of AI the calling from Saint Peter in the first letter of Saint Peter, who says, "Always be ready to give account of your hope, but do it with respect and gentleness." So it's where we are here is as Christian, we have to render account of our hope in the world of AI. So that's really the meaning of our venture in spiritual terms, is to render account of our hope in our field where we are as Christian, as entrepreneur, business leader in AI. So back to who we are, Augustin. So the actual Rerum Novairum is an initiative that we launched together with Augustin, with a number of associations, among which UNIAPAC, of course, is very highly represented today. So we have a network of more than tens of thousands of business leaders represented indirectly or directly through UNIAPAC, of course, all over the world, and more specifically entrepreneurs et dirigeants chrétiens in France and UCID in Italia. And there's also Acton Institute in the United States. And of course, there's also the think tank that I founded myself 10 years ago, which is called Espérance Algorithmes, Hope and Algorithm, which is a think tank about Christian and Jews actually discerning together on the basis of biblical anthropology and Christian social thought. So we've been doing quite a lot of work to discern on the field of entrepreneurship how to be faithful to biblical anthropology in French and French-speaking countries. And after that, I've actually set up a business called Blaise Pascal Advisors to help people also outside the Christian world in the lay world to transform their company. And we've got associated there now with Augustin. And now we launch as actually a non-profit basis, Rerum Novairum.org, a sort of international forum with all these associations, and we facilitated here to let the opportunity to build a network. So why do we do that? Now is of course AI is already transforming our societies to a very deep content. Now, maybe some of you know that very well, others do not get so much acquainted themselves, but AI is really everywhere now in almost every supply chain, every B2C or B2B, mostly implicitly and sometimes explicitly with the most recent version of AI, which is generative AI with ChatGPT, etc. But it started a long time ago. As a mathematician 30 years ago, I was already teaching algorithm. And this transformation happens with a very high level efficiency, which is so high that somehow it's going beyond pilots. And it's somehow a pilotless movement, and which, of course, raises a number of issues, such as the impact on the human dignity of work, the relationship with truth, when we don't even know if we speak to an algorithm or a human being. There's the great issue of anthropomorphism, is having the actual impression that we talk to a human being, but it's not. A number of questions about justice, of course, and the question of equity in an algorithm world. And to some extent, there is also an ecological diversion with, of course, the exponential cost of algorithm in terms of climate change. And even for some of the most involved in the question in the Silicon Valley, there's also a sort of godlike illusion, a sort of neo-messianism in the heads of some of the most rich people in AI. And of course, aside this kind of risks, we have a number of opportunities. And as Christian, we should welcome this large amount of opportunities, things like affordable health in places where health is too costly to be affordable to children, for example. And we have also the great promise of education, of massive amounts of education, more personalized and more accessible for all. There's also the inclusion of the disabled, and that's one of the motivations for people like Elon Musk. And you can hate Elon Musk, but one of his motivation is actually to include people like autism. And there are also a number of promises regarding energy efficiency and combating actually the loss of energy. I've been involved in a different kind of venture startups in energy efficiency. There's a lot to do with an algorithm to actually manage more with better stewardship the limited resources we have. And now if we move on to the anthropological issues, of course, we have great masters of AI, those very powerful engineers that reinvent the world. And if you look at the kind of discourses, you closely see that the anthropological reflection is much less than the technological reflection, of course. And people come out to say that, well, there's no problem with solitude. We just give you AI companions, and that will save you from solitudes. And people come to say that, after all, we're just biological brains. We're no more than an algorithm. And by the way, we're too biased. So it's better to put some algorithm to be judges, because we are bad at judging things. So we want to have a world judged by machines. And there are also people saying, well, it's so complicated to manage human beings. It's so difficult for an entrepreneur to manage people. So why not hire agents? They're much easier to manage. And after all, a lot of people say that the end of work with machines doing everything in place of us, well, that's just cool. We will have universal revenue and we all go to endless vacations. So when you look at that, you have a big questions in anthropological and spiritual terms if you're a Christian. Big questions behind all this. And so next slide, we, of course, may come to Saint Luke now, and who says, if these were silenced, those stones will cry out. You know, if we are Christian, we are silent in this world of machine where the crazy people inventing AI just think about the end of world and the end of human being. We have to say something, otherwise the stone will cry out. And by the way, Leo XIV very well understood that as being an American himself, both a North and South American. And on the next slide, and actually the third day of his election, as early as May 10th, very explicitly, Leo XIV said that we are facing just a new massive industrial and economic revolution, just the size of which is at least comparable to that with which Leo XIII talked about. And we have, as the church, and of course as members of the church, to bring something for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor. So Leo XIV has taken this very seriously. And how do we, as entrepreneurs, starting to enter to that? Well, the first thing is, as I said, in France, we started that experience 10 years ago, also with les entrepreneurs and dirigeants chrétiens, member of UNIAPAC. We started already almost 10 years ago to unite different kinds of leaders and start discerning how we can apply Christian social thought to the kind of new questions we have with algorithm. And that experience led me in May, on the day when I realized that Leo XIV was calling upon us, well, just to call to my friends entrepreneur on LinkedIn. And that call actually was followed by gradually and very quickly, actually the joining of UNIAPAC, les EDC, and all those kind of association I just mentioned. And we all said together, we want to set a white paper as a first deliverable, kind of gathering all sorts of field experience from all over the world, people like us who are trying to do something with AI and trying to do it faithfully and trying to follow Christian social thought. So we say, let's write a white paper, and we will send it to Leo XIV, and we will actually do it on a conference in Roma on the 4th of December, conference organized by Acton Institute. And it will be a first opportunity for this new movement, which we call Rerum Novairum, of course, as a blink of the eye to Rerum Novairum, to bring that community, and we will have the opportunity with all the testimonials to bring it to the Pope, and of course to bring it wider to the whole community of business leaders. So what we do now in this community, of course, is we think that actually the world of AI is in entrepreneur hands. The master of this world are entrepreneurs, are not government, are not research centers. There are entrepreneurs. GAFAM leaders are entrepreneurial ventures. And no one, to be very frank, no one has any clue about the future of work. Everyone is looking for what will happen. And our bet is that we have the responsibility to give direction, to give something for the quest of purpose. Because at the end of the day, entrepreneurs are not just selling business to make money. Most entrepreneurs, especially in the Silicon Valley, are selling business to change the world. And we think that there's an unprecedented openness to Christian testimonies in this world, which is so much challenged by AI, that everyone is thirsting for deeper purpose. And so that's where we have to bring testimony. Next slide. And on the idea that in this world where there is large uncertainty, if we cannot predict the future, we have to make the future. And to make the future, we have to be disciples, and we have to make good use of the treasury of Christian social thought, and try, test, and learn on the entrepreneurial field. And so next slide, that's the purpose of our venture. Just like what happened, by the way, on Rerum Novairum in 1891, when Leo XIII published the encyclical. Actually, it was a bottom-up initiative. So we're here on a bottom-up initiative. It's not Roma which is missioning us. It's us who are gathering what we see in the field, and we will bring it up on bottom-up to the Vatican to actually somehow renew and revisit Christian social thought. So next slide. It's all about sharing testimonials. And we already have a number of testimonials. Well, shortly, I'll show you with Augustin a testimonial coming from Kenya, but we also have things from Lithuania, and we have things from North America. We have all sorts of testimonials. And as you are here on board, we make a call upon you to bring also testimonials from your own country. So we're somehow gathering this. You can already scan, and we will give you later on in this webinar instruction for that. We're in the course of this white paper we're setting. We welcome all testimonials, and we welcome testimonials that can come from non-tech ventures, from people using very simple AI, but just trying very sincerely to share the good and the bad in their use, and in looking for the dignity of the human work is in those new times. So now maybe it's the time, Augustin, to share this first testimonial coming from Kenya.
Yes. Do you have sound? Not yet.
I'm a family physician and
okay, I'll start it again. Wait for a sec. Oh. Does everyone see my screen?
Yes, I will start.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Sarah Kiptines. I am a family physician and the head of clinical quality and innovation here at Penda Health.
My name is Dr. Rob Coram. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Penda.
Penda is a chain of 16 medical outpatient facilities focusing on primary healthcare. We see up to 35,000 patients a month and have an incredible team of 300 clinical staff.
One of the reasons I love primary care is because it's so challenging. The sore throats, the belly pains, the motorbike accidents. We have to manage it all.
Our staff have to be supported by clinical guidelines, but they tend to be 200-page PDF documents. So one of the ways we've been very focused on improving our care at Penda is by offering and providing these guidelines to our clinicians at the point of care.
I remember this moment when I was first kind of playing around with an early version of ChatGPT and really starting to realize, like, wow, if we could somehow bring this into the clinician workflow, think of what that could do to improve our quality.
So AI Consult is a tool plugged into an EMR that acts as a co-pilot that works in the background, and only when necessary does it pop up.
Let's take a look at how the AI Consult works in action. In this clinical encounter, we're seeing a 1-year, 10-month-old child who has gastroenteritis. There are some signs on physical exam of dehydration. One common error that we see is that clinicians prescribe antibiotics instead of more evidence-based treatments. I'm going to start by prescribing metronidazole tablets. You can see this blue shimmery icon, which is showing that the AI Consult is working. It returns a red alert, which reminds me that metronidazole is not indicated for gastroenteritis with mild dehydration. It also reminds me that I haven't prescribed ORS or zinc supplementation. I'm going to remove the metronidazole prescription, and I'm going to add oral rehydration salts as well as zinc. Again, you can see the AI Consult tool runs, and in this case, it returns a green tick. The AI feedback says that the treatment plan aligns with IMNCI guidelines for gastroenteritis with mild dehydration, and it recommends continuing the current treatment plan.
My name is Ada Kiroi. I'm a medical provider at Penda Health for the past 9 months. I'll never forget this case. A patient walked in. They just presented with a simple vomiting. She kind of guided me into leaning towards like just a stomach gastroenteritis, which was just a stomach flu. The AI kind of flagged something. It literally prompted me to do a random blood sugar on the patient. It turned out that the patient was actually diabetic. I feel like I have more confidence while providing healthcare to my patients. It's not replacing me as a provider, but it's helping me to fill in the gaps that could have occurred. I would absolutely recommend AI Consult.
There you go. It's a short extract. Now I'll give again Etienne the word just to comment and maybe start giving some insights on the dignifying work and how we are trying to think and help the entrepreneurs that we are interviewing worldwide. Go ahead.
So I think, of course, the maybe the testimonial was a bit quick. So it's the situation of a clinic in Kenya, in a place where there's a very low coverage, of course, of medicine, and there are many children that cannot afford a consultation. So here we have an example where there's a large promise of AI to actually cut down very fast the costs and raise the quality of actually health and make a health affordable and of higher quality in a place where you cannot wait for years to actually train new doctors. And somehow we have the possibility to upskill social workers and let them do parts of the work that was not available. So we have quite a strong promise, but very quickly, of course, this kind of example also raises the question, if we take the point of view of the Christian social thought and how the dignity, how the human work is actually reaching dignity. Well, in the Catholic social thought or Christian social thought more generally, the work, of course, is not just objective work. It's not just about raw efficiency. Next slide. It's about also subjective work, and the dignity of work is also the place where people become more, of course, a human being in working. And so quite quickly, the question here is, besides the raw efficiency to cut down the cost of medical services, do we enter in a relationship, in a humanizing relationship? Because one of the, of course, the key things about the dignifying work is that work is made to be social. So the question here is, do we have an interaction between a man or a machine, or a woman or a machine, or a children or a machine? Or do we have a machine which is supporting a better relation between two persons? And as a matter of fact, between a medical worker, a social worker, and a patient. And actually, the interesting thing about that use case is that they have worked so that AI is supporting a relationship, is not actually substituting a relationship. And of course, there's also the question of if we move to the next slide, different kind of tensions, if you go in a bit more in details, between the efficiency and the dignity of human work. Now, the other question is, of course, and those who have already started to work on automating their businesses, is, of course, AI comes with a big promise of efficiency through automation. It's about very short-term, heavy gains of productivity. Now, here the tension comes that the highest level of automation may issue a very high short-term productivity, but then, of course, it may come with a lobotomization of the skills. It may come with a downskillings of the people. So here, the kind of question, now the testimony was short, but the kind of question is, does the use of the AI in that clinic actually raises the medical skills of the person who are using it, or are they just losing skills because they're thinking less about the diagnosis and less about what is the real problem with the patient? So there's a tension here, and actually they have a kind of interesting testimonial here, is that they're undertaking some actually some studies about the impact of AI on the midterm of upskilling of the workers. And ideally, they want to actually upskill even workers that were not trained to be nurses or doctors. Now, there's also the question in automation about, if you look into St. Thomas Aquinas, of course, and scholastic view on the dignity of the human work, and there's also the right balance between the hands and the brain. And to some extent, AI is a promise about everything is in the brain, and we see a sort of gnosis of AI about ignoring, of course, what Saint Thomas Aquinas says about the fact that a dignity of work should involve both the hands and the brain, and there's a sort of equilibrium between the thinking and the doing to have a dignity of work. And again, here the kind of automation we're undertaking could actually endanger the balance with too much efficiency on only manual tasks and no more cognitive tasks, or the opposite. And there's also the question of the vulnerability of AI is about performance, of course. And in the Catholic social teaching, there's the preference for the poor. So there's the question about AI. Are we actually somehow biasing the work and giving performers to only the skilled people? Or are we using AI to actually include more the poor? And so that's also a tension on what kind of efficiency we're pushing. And maybe there's also the question about autonomy. Autonomy is something which was very important in Leo XIII Rerum Novairum, is saying that to give dignity on the human work, the worker should have a form of autonomy. It should somehow possess a part of the work that he's doing. And there's the risk with a certain form of automation is to let people become slaves of the tools and actually let people be dispossessed of what was their previous autonomy and just being a worker of the machine. And so here again, there's the question of the level autonomy of, in the case of the clinic, of how the person can organize himself with AI, or is AI actually reorganizing the work of the person, having no say on the way that the work is reorganized. So it's mainly just illustration of the kind of questions. And so now the exercise that we wanted to suggest to you in these first webinars in subgroups now is so you will maybe Augustin, you could introduce the next stage of this webinar.
Yes. Thank you, Etienne, for these insights. That gives maybe some ideas on what we are going to share now. The idea, we understood that in the UNIAPAC, as entrepreneurs, we like to be participating, not just hearing webinars, but really sharing and discussing together. So we will split in subgroups. It's going to be finally random, so that you can meet between all these different situations that you're living around the world. And you will have a slide deck on which you can write your ideas. We will try to answer to two questions. The following question, the questions are the following. You can first look at it, and I will send you in the chat a link to just a slide deck open to anyone so that you can complete it with your team. Is that clear? I hope it is.
Yeah, so the question really is, in your own job, in your own business, thinking about how AI can serve better performers and dignified human work, or that's question B, how would you fear a form of betrayal, or how could you make sure that the use of AI is not betraying the dignity of work in the transformation of your business? So yeah, those two questions, serving without enslaving, and thinking about for all of you in maybe very different job conditions, very different kind of business in which you're involved, thinking about the two facets of the question to discern.
So I'm going to split all this group in 7 different rooms. So we'll be more or less 3 different participants per room. And the idea is that on the link that I sent you in the chat, can you please all of you check and click on the link so that you have access to the slides. You can edit, of course. When you land in this room, this subgroup, please write the names of the 3 people that are in the group, present yourselves briefly, and then try to answer these 2 questions.
So how much time do we have? Maybe you can recall, Augustin.
Yeah, we plan to have 20 minutes. We'll try to do it in 15 so that we can wrap up at the end. Is that all right? So I split right now. So talk to you in 15 minutes. I will call you back in the room. First, present yourselves, write your names on the documents, and then start answering the questions. Thank you very much. Is everyone back?
Yes, we're having a very good discussion with my team.
I'm really sorry. It's always like this. Like we're always caught at the worst moments. Hello, Diego.
We was changing the word, but you interrupted.
We'll just try to wrap up.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know. It's an invitation to go further and to do
yes, of course,
other meetings on the topic.
Yeah.
Etienne, maybe if you want to finish up, because we said that it was only 1 hour, so we don't want to make you late.
Yeah, so maybe it has raised a form of frustration, this webinar, because it was very short, maybe to enter this of wide kind of subjects. It's actually maybe just a starting invitation to kind of understand the spirit of what we want to. And thanks again for UNIAPAC and in particular all the UNIAPAC people here. But you know, the key question we raise here in subgroups is really about thinking of how AI would serve the common good, would serve the dignity of the human labor beyond the pure efficiency. Because of course, at first sight, AI is just about efficiency, and it's just about efficiency. So as Christians, it's trying to think how this incredible efficiency could be serving really the common good, the dignity of human labor, and making sure that if we fear some kind of enslavement or of betrayal, then think about that. And so we wanted to start a very simple kind of discernment. Of course, this needs more time. It's maybe an invitation for all of you in your regions, in your countries, or maybe with UNIAPAC in later webinars, to enter in this kind of discernment, which is the kind of thing we think could help in building a network of business leaders, living their faith in transforming their business and trying to do it faithfully. So maybe at the end we move to how we can go on contribute to the later on. So it's maybe Augustin, how people can follow on the initiative, can contribute, maybe can push some business cases, push some kind of thoughts about good parts and fears about AI. I'll let you the floor, Augustin.
All right. So briefly, the founding associations were the UNIAPAC, the UCID, EDC, and Acton Institute. So it was only 4 associations, and I believe that many of you here represent other associations. So of course you can join the initiative officially, like a bit more than just via UNIAPAC. And the best way to engage, to help this initiative as leaders of your countries, of your Christian business leaders of your different countries, is to help with use cases. If you want to identify in the different leaders that are members of your movements interesting use cases, we are very glad to gather them and share them open source. What we are really looking for on this use cases, we are not looking for saints. We're not looking for perfect people, We're looking for people that actually are currently doing good things using AI, but that did fail before, that did mistakes. They failed, but they failed fast, and they learned. And they can then share insights that will help the others to live this AI transformation the proper way. So if you know in your environments people that have had this kind of experience with AI, we are really glad to get in contact with them.
And so a selection of all those testimonials will be presented to the Vatican on the 4th of December. We are unsure whether we're not sure we will see the Pope, but at least we will be in Roma to share this. And that's just the start, of course. There might be some new conferences in Roma next year. There is certainly an amount of texts that are being prepared by the Vatican on labor and AI. And of course, all we can, as a bottom-up testimonial, feed to the Vatican will help the church and all of us to live this faithfully. Maybe Jean Pedro, Alejandra, if you want to close the session.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for this session. Thanks, Etienne and Augustin. I think that the challenge that we have here is to promote this network of common good, working as a network. So count on us and try to keep us informed, and let's communicate in the right way using your platform. So God bless you all, and thank you all for being here. And if God is with us, who's against us? I think this is the way. Okay?
Amen.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon. Do not hesitate to get in contact and contribute.
Yes, we'll do it. Okay? Alejandra, anything
Thank you,
else?
Diego, Ricardo,
Thank you.
Prune, Enrica, Alejandro.